Hello and welcome to another episode of the Smash Accept podcast. I'm your host, Michael Royer. You can find me on Twitter at Dynasty Dad FF, joined always by my main man at FF Snoog. We are in the middle of OTAs, and we had rookie hype coming into the draft. We got all the landing spots. Now some of these rookies, Snoog, they are absolutely rising up boards. They're moving up our rankings. They're coming out hot, and there's so many guys. It was hard to narrow it down to 6, but this rookie fever at camp gets me excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. We're talking about some guys here that we're expecting to be studs this year. Not only are they flying up, OTA rankings, OTA risers, like all this good stuff, but they're flying up our dynasty rankings as well. Guys that we have, significantly higher maybe than others or just to the general consensus. So I'm excited to jump into this. A lot of these guys we've been talking about for months now, so we can finally see them practicing with real NFL talent, seeing how they're kind of performing on the field and how they're doing with their coaches.
Absolutely. And guys, we just passed 4,000 subs on YouTube. Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button today. We are bringing you live shows every Tuesday and Wednesday. We're bringing you 4 to 5 extra content every single day that we're just trying to help you guys absolutely dominate and smash your opponent in 2025. So make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe. The first guy, Snoog, I think is one that's near and dear to your heart. We had a lot of question marks coming in, and I know myself included, where it's like, what kind of percentage snap share are we going to see with this guy? How much offense? How much defense? And Travis Hunter looks to be the real deal at camp.
Yeah, he is interesting because he went second overall pick. He's viewed by the Jaguars, by many NFL analysts, as the clear wide receiver one in this class, an elite level wide receiver talent, crazy athlete, crazy gifted player, can make a catch and make a play at any part of the field, can high point the ball, win after the catch, win with his feet. He's doing that in camp, and you're just seeing him out there having fun, going out there with Brian Thomas Jr., competing every day, guarding Brian Thomas Jr., then the next day running, 50, 60 routes. So he's polishing up his route trees, looking real good, real sharp out there. This offense with Brian Thomas Jr., Trevor Lawrence, and Liam Cohen is going to take hell by the storm with Travis Hunter. He's going to be a guy winning out of the slot consistently after the catch downfield, mossing defenders. Like, he's that type of player. He's that type of athlete. He's an alpha. He's going to come out there and put up, 80, 90, 100 receptions as a rookie. You can mark that you can put that on my grave because it's happening. So I'm big on Travis Hunter. He's a top 11 dynasty wide receiver for me.
Yeah, he's Mike Clay's number one projected reception leader. As far as rookies, Mike Clay has him reception at 70 receptions. I think you see some of the alpha type plays that he's making. The most athletic player we've seen. Like, he's phenomenal when it comes to that. And I'm excited to see what the dynasty community has done as far as dynasty trades, because he's someone that I was a little bit less bullish. I had him as my wide receiver 18 coming out. I've moved him all the way up to wide receiver 14 because some of those questions have been answered. How much is he going to play on defense? And for the first several days of OTA, didn't even play any defensive snaps. Now he's just getting sprinkled in there. So I think Travis Hunter, those questions have been answered. He looks like the real deal next to Brian Thomas Jr. in this offense. Just picture Chris Godwin, much more athletic, juiced up in this offense. So we're excited. Yep. At Smash Accept. You should be excited. You should be buying. Just like this first trade I want to talk about here, Snoog, is Chris Olave and Jordan Addison for Travis Hunter. Both of those guys were guys that were really high pedigree, first-round picks, have, flashed at times. Are you taking the two decent-looking wide receivers, with that have started out solid, or are you pushing the chips into a guy like Travis Hunter?
I'm going for the stud here. I want Travis Hunter. I want a guy that could be a top 8, top 7 dynasty wide receiver based on his skill set. These guys can't. They never will be. They're not good enough to be, and they don't have the situations to be. I love Chris Olave, Jordan Addison, great player. They're good top, 20, 24 dynasty wide receivers. But the ceiling Travis Hunter has is unlike either of these guys.
Dude, you're going to love this next trade. Talking about little Duval here. Brian Thomas Jr. and Jarquez Hunter. Jarquez Hunter is kind of, when we do a low-key hype for rookie risers, he's someone that's real fun. But Brian Thomas Jr. and Jarquez Hunter, or Quinshon Judkins and Travis Hunter. We got Hunters on both sides.
Judkins. I want the Judkins Hunter side. I think after this year, there's a real world where Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. get very, very close in value. And maybe not after this year, but maybe heading into the year after. Like, I think very quickly, though, that you're going to see, like, okay, yeah, BTJ's elite, but so is Travis Hunter.
2 quick hitters here for you. Nico Collins in a third or Travis Hunter in a second?
Nico. I want Nico.
All right.
There.
And the last
Slightly.
one, Lad McConkey or Travis Hunter and a 26 second.
I'm taking Travis Hunter over Lad McConkey straight up. So that's a free second.
I knew what you were, but hey, the next guy, my biggest riser, and you guys know I love him. I mean, he's gone from an early second to a late first to now he's my 108 in rookie drafts. That's RJ Harvey from the Denver Broncos. Sean Payton has already come out and say that this guy is going to be his, Darren Sproles, Alvin Kamara type. You look at what he did. He has an elite nose for the end zone, 44 touchdowns in just 42 games. Deceptive burst, 54 runs of 10 plus. That's second only to Ashton Genty in this class. Plus reception skills. You're seeing him at camp literally doing it all. They're moving him all over the field. Bo Nix in 2024, 114 passes to the running backs. Most of those targets have gone with Javonte Williams. RJ Harvey is someone that I know, Mike Clay projected him at 46 receptions. Snoog, if they came to you and said 6 months ago that RJ Harvey was going to be a guy that, got this kind of draft capital, they're projecting at 46 receptions. I could easily see him over 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns, sprinkling 46 receptions, and he's an RB1 as a rookie. And I do think that's going to happen, and I think a lot of people were swayed off by the age. I don't care. You're talking about anybody other than Genty and Henderson and maybe Judkins and Hampton. We're talking about a 2 to 4 year window anyways. So I don't care that he's 24 years old. I am smashing RJ Harvey every opportunity I can get. And let's take a look at some of these trades.
Yeah, he's a super fun player because we love the film, the talent, and he's now with an offense where he's going to be one of the faces of it. So I'm excited to see him utilizing the passing game, explosive, elusive player. Reminds me a lot of DeAndre Swift, and that was my comp for him coming out. So I'm super excited because I was a big Swift guy. So I'm super excited for Harvey. So many good trades here that we can do, and there's so many different kind of avenues we can take the approach on. So right away, Dad, you want to get a little bit younger, turning RJ Harvey or turning Derrick Henry into RJ Harvey straight up.
Oh yeah, I'm taking RJ Harvey. I did this particular trade. I gave up Derrick Henry and got RJ Harvey and Calvin Ridley. And I think the interesting part about RJ Harvey and a guy that we're going to get to at the wide receiver position a little bit later is there's such a variance between where he's drafted. I would take him at 108. I've seen him go as far as 202. So in the right league, you want to be shooting for a trade that's worth the 108 if you're trading him. If you're trading for him, something that's worth the 202, which creates awesome opportunities in Dynasty.
Yep, absolutely agree there. What about Jordan Addison for RJ Harvey? You want the points or do you want to get a young receiver?
I like it, Jordan Addison, right? But RJ Harvey's winning you leagues. Jordan Addison's going to fill in as your wide receiver 3 on a week-to-week basis. But I'm smashing Harvey there. I think, though, as far as Dynasty trades go, I think you could get Harvey in a second for Addison in a third in most leagues.
Yep. I got one for you. I know what side we're both going to be on here, but I want to know what the gap would be. RJ Harvey and Tet McMillan or Ashton Genty. What's that gap look like for you? A 1-2 swap on the Tet side?
Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, Tet, would be on this show, but he can't rise too much more for me because I have him so high. He's my wide receiver 1. Snoogs is Hunter. But I think a year from now, right, if RJ Harvey finishes as a top 12 to 15 running back and Tet puts up over 1,000 yards, the gap on this is going to be small. Genty's still going to be your anvil. He's going to be the guy that's going to win you championships. But Harvey is a guy that I think is ultimately going to be a fringe RB1, just like this next guy who, Snoog, everyone's worried about the quarterbacks over there. They're watching what's going on in Cleveland, but there's a running back who's blowing the top off this place. I mean, Quinshon Judkins looks like the real deal that you and I have been preaching for months.
Yeah, he's hard. So he seems like he's just kind of a riser in general in the entire Dynasty market right now. He's like my Dynasty RB8 or 7 right now. I'm like already so high on him and TreVeyon Henderson, but the OTAs, the mini camp, he's just been nonstop. The leader, the RB1, everyone's talking about him like that. All the brands reporters are. Stefanski, they're all like, this guy's the real deal. Deuce Staley, like he is crushing all those running back drills. Looks so much better than everybody there. He's taking first team snaps. There's no one else there other than Samson to kind of be the guy. So I did this tweet yesterday. Quinshon Judkins in any offense he's formed in with different coaches, 1,000 yards every single season, 15 plus touchdowns. That's in 2 different offenses in college. Dalvin Cook and Nick Chubb, since Kevin Stefanski's been the OC in 2018 with Minnesota, through now as the Browns head coach, RB19, RB2, RB7, RB10, and RB6 as his lead backs. That's not even counting for Nick Chubb splitting carries with Kareem Hunt throughout that entire time, also being a fringe RB1, high end RB2. Quinshon Judkins is going to smash. He can do it all. He was an elite athlete, elite draft capital, very high end prospect to me, and I think he's going to be an RB1 for the future with 300+ point upside as a rookie.
So I've gotten this on Twitter. Every time I post about RJ Harvey, people say, yeah, but Dad, what about Audric Estime? And every time I post about Quinshon Judkins, people are like, what about Dylan Sampson or Jerome Ford? If you're worried about Jerome Ford and Audric Estime, you don't deserve to have RJ Harvey and Quinshon Judkins. These guys are alphas. We're not talking,
send them this way.
Exactly. Send them to Snoog and we got you covered. So let's take a look at some of these trades. I like the first one here. Caleb Johnson in a 26th second or Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, I like me some Caleb Johnson in his situation, but, we're super bullish on Judkins and his skill set. We have been for a while. You got to go with the guy that, is going to be the face of the Browns offense.
Let's go with, we already did one with Judkins and Hunter, so we already talked about that. How about Drake London or Brandon Ayuk and Quinshon Judkins?
I want Ayuk and Judkins. Give me Ayuk and Judkins there. I like that trade too. You're getting Brandon Ayuk can really gain a ton of value this year. I think he can.
How about, and this is a smash to me, but we're looking at DJ Moore and Quinshon Judkins or Drake London.
So that's how you win in Dynasty right there. You're getting two pieces that could be. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You're getting two pieces that could damn well go out and outscore Drake London straight up. Like, I don't think London's penciled in to be
gonna kill it this year, though.
He's gonna kill it, but he's not penciled in to be a 1,500-yard guy. Like, he's only ever underperformed as a player besides last year, right? And it's like he's a guy that could very well go out there next year and put up 1,200 yards and 80 receptions and 7-8 touchdowns again, right? Like, so could DJ Moore. Judkins can go out there and put up 1,000 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns. That's what I'm saying. He's not like a Puka Nacua that's going to average 22 points per game. And it's like, yeah, that's an elite production gap, So I feel like you're getting two really good high-end assets there.
All right. My next guy, and I think we're sticking with the running back trend because Snoog and I have literally all offseason just told you how special this running back class is, and it really is. The guy that I think is getting lost in the sauce for no reason, and he's catching passes everywhere in New England. The Patriots don't have anything outside of TreVeyon Henderson. They got Drake May, and I really like a couple of guys that we're going to talk about. But TreVeyon Henderson, disrespectfully on Mike Clay's projection, was at 31 receptions. If he only gets 31 receptions, we're going to do a massive giveaway on TreVeyon Henderson jerseys for everybody. He is literally going to smash that number. I think he's going to double that number. I think TreVeyon Henderson is the most gifted pass catcher in this class. When you look at all things, be able to go out and run routes, to be a guy that can take the dump offs. He's the best pass protector for pass blocking in the entire class. He will be on the field. Again, like the other guys, if you're worried about Ramondre Stevenson, you don't deserve TreVeyon Henderson. He is going to ball out. I have him as a top 10 dynasty running back right off the bat. And Snoog, if he adds I think just as a pass catching back, he's going to be put up RB2 numbers. I mean, I think he could flirt with 60 receptions, 600 yards, and a couple of receiving touchdowns. Throw in the rushing upside, and he also has fantasy RB1 upside for 2025. Not just dynasty, but fantasy. And I think TreVeyon Henderson is going to be the apple of Drake May's eye. He's going to have a Reggie Bush type rookie season, and he's going to be one of those guys. You look at the all-time guys, you saw, Reggie Bush had 80 plus and Saquon had 90 plus. If anybody in this class is going to flirt with those kind of numbers, is TreVeyon Henderson, and he's still a value.
Yep, I absolutely agree. Another guy, and I know it's like, okay, Quinshon Judkins, TreVeyon Henderson, we both have, they're both top 7, top 8 for me in my dynasty rankings right away. Take that turd sandwich and Tyrone Tracy, take a mid to late 26 first, and go get TreVeyon Henderson, who would be guaranteed at least RB2 next year.
Absolutely. That's a smash. I'm not even debating that one. Give me Henderson all day.
What about Breece Hall or TreVeyon Henderson in a random 27 second?
So the way to do this in Dynasty, if you guys are not in the Discord, which a lot of you guys are, but the way to do this, if you can, with savvy owners, you go you go Brees 27 second for TreVeyon and a 27 first. And you might not be able to do that. I think I've linked below the patreon.com/smash accept is to get into our Discord. $5 a month for your most basic, where we're going to give you guys all of our content, all the way up to 20, where we're going to hand tailor your roster the same way that you and I do, Snoog. And that's why you and I 4 and 5x our money every single year. But I think Henderson in a second in the long term on this one is going to win, but I don't think you have to do it.
I also think there's a chance you could say, I don't want the second. Give me Joe Mixon. Give me Kamara. Give me your Calvin Ridley, your Portland Sutton. Give me a player James like Conner. that. They're going to be more valuable than that second to you in this type of deal. So I really like doing that as well if you're kind of penciled in here.
Yeah.
What about Travis Hunter in a random 26 first, or Emeka Egbuka, TreVeyon Henderson in a 26 second?
Not with the first involved.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say 27 first on the way back. I'm taking Travis Hunter there. I think you set me up just so I had to say I'm taking Travis Hunter. I think I'm going to take that one as a personal move. A guy that you were selling me on in pre-draft process, a guy that I loved at that point. I'm starting to really come around on, because Mike Evans is going to be 33. Chris Godwin's going to be 30. Jalen McMillan flashed, but this guy is tearing up the camp, Snoog.
Yeah, Emeka Egbuka is a stud to me. I mean, he's as pro-ready as you can get as a wide receiver in this class. I've said it, and I confidently can say he's closer to being wide receiver 1 in this class than he is wide receiver 4 for me. As a talent, as a prospect. Not saying he's as good as Tet or Travis Hunter, but I think he's closer to those guys than he is with, Bird and Golden, Trey Harris for me. The Bucs needed everything. They needed defense. They needed some offensive line help. They needed so much. They went out. You know what they did? They drafted the position they don't need, wide receiver. Why? Because they probably didn't think Egbuka was going to be there, or they just really, really loved him and don't feel confident about Chris Godwin's outlook with the injury and Mike Evans' injury history and all that good stuff. Emeka Egbuka is going to be Baker Mayfield's wide receiver 1 within a year. Probably going into next year, he's going to blow up in value. He's one of those guys I'm confidently sticking and picking at 108. And I'm saying, give me the young stud wide receiver, because when he puts up, a couple really big games and Godwin can't play because his ankle's toast, then Egbuka is going to skyrocket in value. And I think this is a guy that, played with Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave, Jeremiah Smith, all these studs, and still sat there and put up 1,000 yards next to those type of players. So to me, he's just as pro ready as they come, and I'm all over it.
I made a trade where I was rebuilding, and I traded T. Higgins in a third for Egbuka and a 27 first. And I think
that's nice.
Right now it seems fair, right? And that's what's so good about Dynasty is at face value, those kind of trades make sense. I mean, this first one here, we're going to go with AJ Brown or Egbuka, Devin Neal in a 26 first.
Yeah, I want the 26 first and Egbuka here, especially if I'm rebuilding. I think that's a great, retool, kind of getting 2 young stud assets for the future. And then Devin Neal, who's just a throw-in, RB3 or 2 on his team, whatever. But I think that's a good option there. Devin Neal, the guy that can't even roll over a medicine ball.
That was bad. I'm going to test you a little bit on the next one, because I know you like these guys. DeAndre Swift and Egbuka, or Rashee Rice and Will Shipley?
I think that's going to get really damn close after this season. I think
it's Rice right now. But
it's Rice right now, but I think that's going to be close.
I could see Rice absolutely dominating this year, though. So that's why I would lean on that side as well. There's a fun one: George Pickens, T.J. Hawkinson, Ricky Purcell. Right? Do any of those names truly excite you?
Pickens, that's it.
A little bit, right?
And
or
he doesn't
Egbuka,
even yet.
And a random 26 first.
Egbuka in the first. So I think the trick is, Dad, with Egbuka is taking Addison, Metcalf, Waddle, Olave, these type of guys, and just turning them into Egbuka. Rome Odunze for Egbuka plus. Like, these type of deals is what I'm trying to do with him. Because I think there's a world he passes all of them heading into next year, the year after, and then you're getting pluses on top.
I like it. I mean, I think we're going to start to definitely see it. The next trade is Egbuka or RJ Harvey. It was a straight up trade I just saw. So that's kind of funny, because we were just both taking him. I have Harvey higher, and I know you have Egbuka higher. And I think that's perfectly fine in the dynasty landscape when you look at those things. Snoog, I'm going to switch it up here on the last one because I'm so bullish on this. We were down on the process overall, but I am buying the camp hype on Cam Ward right now with a clean pocket in 2024, 30 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions, 5.9% big throw rate, 1.5% turnover worthy plays. Those were both top in college football. We knew that he had a special arm talent with the way he throws from different angles. We're starting to see that at camp. Some of that's camp buzz. You see a little bit of those Patrick Mahomes arm angles, but last year, 43 total touchdowns. And I'm starting to really like what I'm seeing. They have an improved wide receiver core. It's a lot of guys. I mean, it's Calvin Ridley, there's Io Manor, Restrepo starting to look good. There's Dyke, there's guys there. I think Tony Pollard's going to be involved in the pass catching role. I think this offense is going to give him a lot of opportunity to do what he did in college, Snoog, where he's that true point guard type quarterback. Yep. Right now, the over-unders, and I think they're really nice bets on, going on DraftKings, 18.5 passing touchdowns and 3,200 yards. I think he passes those pretty comfortably. And I think as a starter, going 101 overall, I think in a lot of super flex drafts, I got him at 107 in a couple of drafts. And I think when you get a guy this good, this late, I think there's opportunity. And we have a lot of other risers in this, right? I mean, there's obviously Jack Beck has looked good. Kyle Williams has looked good. Jimmy Horn, that Jr. There's a ton of players that have really thrived. I mean, you have to put Tyler Shuck in there because he's on par to be the starter. You have to look at some of these things. But for me, Cam Ward, I'm sticking towards the top, and I'm interested to see what some of the fantasy community looks like on some of these trades.
Yeah, 2 that stand out right away for me where they're kind of all in the same range value-wise. Purdy for Ward in a second.
I think if I'm contending, I mean, I'm not often buying Purdy. You buy him for that nice safe floor, but I feel like this is probably a scenario where I would much rather have Cam Ward as my QB3. If I needed a guy to win, and I think value-wise, if that's a really late second, Purdy's fine, but I prefer Cam Ward here. I think Cam Ward has much higher upside and more dynasty value.
I'm a big Purdy guy, so I'd prefer Purdy, but that's definitely the value. Like that's definitely a good fair trade, I think. Like perfect kind of tier back, kind of get younger. Goff or Ward straight up?
Goff. Same kind of thing. I think a lot of people really think Goff is going to take a step down with Ben Johnson left. He's been back-to-back QB7. He's a set it and forget it kind of guy. I'm looking at this, a lot of them. I made a couple of trade suggestions in the Discord. Guy said he really wanted a quarterback. We traded the 111, which was Caleb Johnson, and a 26 second to get up to Cam Ward. And I'm perfectly fine with that kind of trade. And there's been other ones where, Bryce Young and a late second for Cam Ward. You're resetting the clock. If you can go get a Cam Ward and he puts up a solid rookie season, his value is going to go up. Snoog, his startup value right now is in that 4th round. So I think he's gone from 6th round to 4th round, and you got to really respect what's been going on at OTAs, and he is a clear riser because of that value bump.
Yep, I agree there. And then last trade here, 26 first, mid. Let's say it's between 106 and 108 or Cam Ward.
I think I want Ward there. I mean, I think Ward right now, we talked about Ward's probably the QB 5 if he came out last year, but I think he's arguably the QB 1 if he comes out next year. Him and Sellers would be in that.
He's up there, right? Yeah,
for sure. So, guys, this has been a fun show. We've been bringing you guys content on a daily basis, trying to give you guys all that information, all that content you guys need to smash your leagues in 2025. We will be doing everything from Dynasty to redraft, here to help you guys here to help you guys smash. Thanks again for tuning in, and enjoy the process.